Much anticipated talks between Russian President Vladimir Putin and US President Donald Trump in Alaska ended with no deal on ceasefire. Let's give you a recap of the crucial meet. Both the presidents met for about 2.5 hours in Alaska's Anchorage. Now, President Trump arrived first with Air Force One landing at around 10:22 a.m. local time. While President Putin touched down shortly before 11 a.m., marking his first visit to U.S. soil in years. These were the times when both the president arrived at the Anchorage in Alaska, where the crucial meeting had taken place. Trump personally greeted Putin with applause as he approached along a red carpet flanked by U.S. fighter jets. The two leaders shared a warm, extended handshake, complete with smiles and elbow pads, with a military flyover added a dramatic flair overhead. Now, in an unscripted moment, both leaders entered Trump's official limousine, the Beast, and took a private ride to the meeting venue with no aides or translators being present. While the summit was initially planned as a one-on-one discussion with interpreters, it evolved into a 3-on-3 format. Now, the U.S. delegation included Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff. The Russian side was led by Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Putin's longtime aide Yuri Ushakov. Now, the meeting began informally at around 11:30 a.m., starting with a private session followed by a working breakfast with delegations. In total, the summit lasted nearly 3 hours, though no binding outcomes were achieved. Following the talks, both leaders expressed at a joint press conference. However, they did not take questions from the media. Russian President Vladimir Putin said that he hopes that agreements reached at the summit with US President Donald Trump would be a launchpad for settling the Ukraine conflict and restoring ties between Russia and the United States. Putin, however, did not specify that the two sides had agreed on. US President Donald Trump that he and Russian President Vladimir Putin did not reach an agreement on probably the most significant aspect of their meeting, but there was a very good chance of getting there. Now, let's listen to what the two leaders had to say after the meet.
Issues was the situation around Ukraine. We see the strive of the administration and President Trump personally to help facilitate the resolution of the Ukrainian conflict, and his strive to get to the crux of the matter, to understand this history, is precious. As I've said, the situation in Ukraine has to do with fundamental threats to our security. Moreover, we've always considered the Ukrainian nation, and I've said it multiple times, a brotherly nation, however strange it may sound in these conditions. We have the same roots, and everything that's happening is a tragedy for us and terrible wound. Therefore, the country is sincerely interested in putting an end to it. At the same time, we're convinced that in order to make the settlement lasting and long-term, we need to eliminate all the primary roots, the primary causes of that conflict. And we've said it multiple times, to consider all legitimate concerns of Russia and to reinstate a just balance of security in Europe and in the world on the whole. And I agree with President Trump, as he has said today, that naturally the security of Ukraine should be ensured as well. Naturally, we are prepared to work on that. I would like to hope that the agreement that we've reached together will help us bring closer that goal and will pave the path towards peace in Ukraine. We expect that Kiev and European capitals will perceive that constructively and that they won't throw a wrench in the works. They will not make any attempts to use some backroom dealings to conduct provocations to torpedo the nascent progress.
There's no deal until there's a deal. I will call up NATO in a little while. I will call up the various people that I think are appropriate, and I'll, of course, call up President Zelensky and tell him about today's meeting. It's ultimately up to them. They're going to have to agree with what Marco and Steve and some of the great people from the Trump administration who've come here, Scott and John Radcliffe. Thank you very much. And thank you all Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. Thank you very much, Vladimir.
Next time in Moscow.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I don't know.